Next up, we have to talk TeslaBot. So we put out our last episode, episode 284. I asked you guys on Instagram whether you wanted us to talk about TeslaBot, and I share my first reactions. We did that. We got a lot of good feedback. We also got a lot of controversial feedback, and it was mostly around... Well, first of all, before we get into the controversial stuff, thank you for everyone that did actually give me feedback, good, negative, constructive. I do really appreciate that. This is not something that I'm an expert in. I'm an enthusiast in things like this, in technology in general. There are certain things I'm good at: 3D printing, additive technology, I would say manufacturing. I'm pretty good with that stuff. When it comes to, obviously, aerospace engineering, I have a degree in it, so take that for what it is. And with robotics and artificial intelligence, I think is really interesting. And I think it's something I want to keep an eye on and talk to experts. And so before I even get into what was so controversial or why things might have been so controversial, I want to ask you if you have any robotics engineers in your life that you know that might want to come on to talk about TeslaBot and artificial intelligence and to the big picture, to kind of break down what is it that companies like Boston Dynamics and Honda and Tesla, what are these companies doing? How are they different? How are they achieving the same thing differently? And what are they doing the same? And I think it's fascinating. I do want to say that companies like Honda and Boston Dynamics, part of the feedback I got, is that, yeah, they are much further down the road of the development of TeslaBot than Tesla is. Oh, sorry, the development... See, I already said TeslaBot as the replacement for a robot. So they have been doing work for a long time, and their robots are very athletic. And part of the point I was making was that this TeslaBot reveal, I've seen Honda, I've seen Boston Dynamics, I've seen robots over the years that are doing things and acting human-like, but this is the first time with the TeslaBot reveal that, to me, it felt more human than any of those other robots. You know, the Boston Dynamics robot, Atlas, an amazing robot, extremely athletic. We've seen those videos of how much they've done and how athletic they are, but they don't seem human to me. They seem like robots. And I know there's a concept that a lot of people don't want to anthropomorphize, make robotic things human to try and understand them that way because they're inherently not human. But there was something about this that captured my attention in a way that robotics hasn't necessarily done. And I think that's done it for a lot of people. I think that's what the positive feedback over the review has been, or the reaction, is that I think there's a lot of people that are feeling that way. That, this is a very exciting reveal. I think ultimately it's extremely good for robotics. If there's a company that's going to drive mass production and the adoption of these robots in more businesses and homes and wherever else they end up, I mean, $20,000 a robot, that may seem like a lot of money, but people spend easily double that for cars nowadays, for leases. Imagine if you could lease one of these things. If it's at that point where it's programmable or it has programs to do useful things around you, that could be extremely, extremely valuable. And I feel like as a brand, as a company, Tesla's already done that with a car. I think they have, and they've shown they have the marketing and technical know-how to kind of push this towards adoption, which is what I think the scale of Honda and Boston Dynamics, they've developed much more, but I'm not sure about the adoption. There's a lot of military applications, and I'm sure that's, if I had to guess, what has slowed down some of the adoption of Boston Dynamics stuff. Is I'm sure there's plenty of things being researched in that area. Again, I don't work in the robotics industry, but if I had to guess, that could be one of the factors. Elon Musk is a controversial character. That's kind of the long and short of this whole interesting, controversial topic. And I do understand if there's things that Elon Musk is doing that you do not approve of and that leaks into this stuff, or if you're just really not a believer that just that Elon Musk can just walk into an industry and do it. But I've learned not to count Elon Musk out, especially when he's hands-on with the technology and the design process. He's a legitimate physicist. He's a physicist, and he also understands marketing and products and selling. So, as a businessman and a technical person, that is a very rare combination. And you can see from all the stuff that he's doing that is revolutionizing a lot of things. That does not mean that he's going to be the most liked person on the planet. And that is what it is. I have made qualms with that, but it's affecting some new people. It's interesting, too, because there's a lot of people that I haven't really heard discount or critique Elon, who are in the robotics field, who are now critiquing him. So I do understand kind of the conflict of, well, what, he's just going to come in here and do that? Like, that's outrageous. We'll see. We'll see. It could very well be the Elon scale, and he gives a timeline that was possible if he cloned himself and everyone was doing the work. But obviously that's not reality, at least until the TeslaBot becomes sentient and they're able to upload Elon Musk via Neuralink, and then he'll be able to keep those timelines. But until then, Elon, we will see what happens. But the one thing that he's done over and over is deliver. So I'm looking forward to what happens, and that is what I found really controversial about the TeslaBot. But I really appreciate everyone's feedback. Thank you very much. On to the next subject.